Welcome back to the Gilbertson Aero Factory. Today's Thursday, August the 4th. This is a little bit different perspective than what we've been doing for quite a while. Yesterday, I spent all of the day trying to install a portable air conditioning unit in my garage here, which is uninsulated, by the way, but anything to just get rid of some of the heat that I've been dealing with. It's very hot in here, but it's 15 degrees hotter out there, so I'll take that. So finally going to get to pressure testing the tank. I've got Van's little pressure testing kit. We'll get that all set up, spray it down with some soapy water, and I have a Sharpie here to circle any place where there may be leaks. Anyways, let's just see what happens. It's good to be back. Let's build an airplane.
I've left the room tone or the audio from the video kind of high in here because, well, you'll see when it happens. But at any rate, the first thing I'm doing right here is installing the little air valve that comes with the kit from Vans. So you take off the quick drain valve, which you see sitting on the table there. And in that spot, you install a little air valve that you can use a bicycle pump, basically, to pressurize the tank. Very important, by the way, you don't want to use a ton of pressure, which is why you use the balloon. So here you go ahead, put on the fuel cap, and use clear packing tape. Works really well to seal that off. You could potentially have an air leak around the seal of the fuel cap. That's not a big deal. So just following Van's instructions, use clear packing tape or any tape you want, but clear packing tape works well and it doesn't leave as much mess as if you were to use some of the other tape I have laying around. Like Gorilla Tape would probably seal it and it would make a huge mess. Blue Painter's tape probably wouldn't seal it. So let's see here. I let this run real time for a little bit so you can see the sort of opening moments of testing this tank. By the way, I mentioned that I put a portable AC in my garage. I did film that. I thought about making a separate video about that, and then I thought better of it. So if that's something that you want to see, stay tuned to the end of this pressure test, and I've tacked it onto the end, a little bonus footage if you want to see what that's all about from somebody like me. How that goes. I will give my thoughts while I'm getting the tape on there. I might give my thoughts on the AC. It really is undersized for this garage, which is about a little over 700 square feet, I suppose. It's probably better off for a 1 or a 2 car garage. And that's something that I considered when I got it. I'm just trying to get the garage cooler than what I've been dealing with the garage doors open or closed with no AC. It's just unbelievably hot and there's no relief in sight. And knowing that it might be undersized, when I'm done with it, I can use it in my trailer. And if I want to at some point, I can just upgrade to a larger unit. What am I doing here? Okay. I'm cleaning off the threads for that. This is the left tank, so that's where the fuel pickup is. Remember, this is the one that has the flop tube. So I'm cleaning up the threads a little bit, and then another part of the kit is sort of an AN cap that you screw over that fuel pickup to seal it off so that no air can escape from there. And then we go with the balloon. With the balloon, there is actually a proper color balloon to use for this, but it will be a little bit different for everybody. For me, the proper color balloon is purple because I'm a Washington Huskies fan. So it's important that you select a balloon that matches your fan, where you throw your support. Anyways, you see me putting a balloon over. This is over the vent line fitting. Placing the balloon over that. The instructions say to tape it. I've heard people say that they have a hard time getting a good seal on this thing, and their solution for them was a rubber band. And because I'm a long-haired hippie, my version of a rubber band is a hair tie. And so that's what I'm doing. I cannot say conclusively if this type of rubber band was effective, because once I started, and that will happen here in a few minutes, once I started pressurizing the tank, I noticed a leak right away. So I would get a little bit of inflation of the balloon, but not before that leak would start draining it. So jury's still out on that. And so was it a spoiler? I don't know. I mean, I told you that the tank did leak, but I think that we all probably could have guessed that there would probably be at least one leak with an Endeavor of this type. It's a bad news, good news situation. Bad news being obviously I have a leak. Good news is it's not in a particularly. It's in a spot that's actually pretty good. If you're gonna have a leak, this is a place to have it. Also, the good news is I don't have a ton of leaks, which was a big concern of mine. You know, this is episode 29 of Fuel Tanks, and so you know how many times I've mentioned throughout that saga that I was committed to sticking with the Scott McDaniel's method of not just slopping on tons of tank sealant. And it doesn't leak like a garden sprinkler. I have a couple of leaks too that you'll see here as we progress through the video. 2 leaks that occur with the baffle seal, and they're sort of common spots for that. So now I'm grabbing, I think,
Closed.
checking that's all good. And I should be grabbing the pump here to start pumping it up. So just like filling up a bicycle tire, just place that over the fitting, which doesn't quite come into view of the camera. Get that on there, start pumping it up. And then on the right-hand side, you'll start to see that little purple balloon start to inflate. There you go, towards the bottom, hanging down there. There we go. It starts to inflate, and then here is where I start to notice that it's not... I don't want to go crazy with the pump, because I know that you can potentially overpressurize the tank, and that would not be good for it. The reason that you use a balloon is because the balloon will pop before there's more pressure than the tank can withstand. So this is a safe method of doing it. But nonetheless, I've never done this before. I don't want to go nuts with that thing. But I'm noticing that that's as full as that thing is getting, which is not very full at all. And here, and you can probably hear it, you can hear that little whisper from the lavalier mic that I'm wearing on my shirt. So I'm sneaking around trying to locate exactly where I'm hearing that hissing sound from. And it's time to turn off the life-giving air conditioning and fan and suffer in the heat once more to determine what kind of leak I have here. Obviously, this is disappointing. I think I'd hoped that if I had any leaks, they would be really tiny, and this one was a whistler. But it is, as we'll find here in a few minutes, in one of the most common places to get one, which is the very corner of the rear baffle where it meets the end rib, where you're supposed to glop it up really heavy. And so despite glopping it up really heavy, I still ended up with a leak there. But that shouldn't be too difficult to fix. There's good access to that point. This is inboard, which means that there's that big blank plate that I put to cover up the access hole. If I want to, I can remove that, but I also am going to do a little bit more research on possibly... I think I've read in some places about doing like negative pressure to draw sealant in to a leak. Anyways, I'll let you know what I find out about that and what I decide to do. But here I start spraying it down. I've just got a bottle mixed with water and mild dish soap and going to start spraying down all over the place. But here's where we're going to start. And it becomes pretty obvious in a moment. You'll get to see what this actually looks like. But yeah, so we'll get into the spraying and the pumping. And so as you watch me do this, I'll be pumping it frequently because I'm not getting a ton of sustained pressure. I guess using a ton is a bad choice of phrase. I'm not. I want to make sure that there's constantly positive pressure, so that I can look at all of those rivets. Where on this side you can see that there are rivets running the lengthwise. Those are the stiffeners, and then vertically those are the ribs. Obviously, really happy to report that I could not identify any leaks anywhere along those stiffeners or those ribs at all, which is back to the beginning, where I was concerned that it might occur because I wasn't going crazy with the sealant on those things. I was doing relatively clean work and trying to just buy into the philosophy of sealing as Scott McDaniels describes it. So I couldn't find any leaks along any of those rivets, nor could I find any leaks around the fitting that you see right there for the quick drain valve. But I found two up here along, let me correct myself. I found one up there on the baffle, and then right here, what I'm looking at, I circled a rivet there. That's a solid core blind rivet. I swear that when I did this just moments before, I got some bubbling out of that, and then I couldn't duplicate it, and I tried and tried, so I guess maybe it didn't leak and I was seeing something else. But you did see there is another leak up there in that second bay where the baffle meets the top skin. A small leak up there also shouldn't be hard to repair, and if I do have to get inside the tank, that just so happens to be on this tank, the bay where the fuel sender is, so I can remove the fuel sender and reach my hand in there and repair it from the inside as well. So I suppose with both of these leaks, and those are the only two that I was able to locate anywhere on this tank, they're both very accessible. So can't complain about that. You see me checking down towards the nose, where those reinforcement plates are on one end. The other end, it's the attach bracket, the reinforcement plate. There's a lot going on the inboard end because you also have that flat tube fuel pickup. You drilled holes through there. No leaks. And those are trouble spots, but I couldn't identify any leaks. And I kind of spent a lot of time there because when you're spraying this thing down, bubbles kind of run down the sides and accumulate there. So I kept cleaning it out with my finger and spraying some more and pumping it some more, and yeah, I could not find any leaks in there. There's that little one right there that I was talking about, and I cannot get this one. That I guess I was just seeing things the first time, because it appears that rivet is not leaky. I'll take it. So I do a little bit more sort of inspection and running around. That's the big one, and you can see it's right by the access plate. So overall, I keep coming back. I'm like, where did I see this leak? Yeah, I can't duplicate it. You see a lot of bubbles there because I've been spraying it a lot, but I can't get it to reproduce what I thought that I saw the first time. So yeah, I guess I was seeing things. So today, I will, when I'm done with this, get this wrapped up, I will go into doing the testing of the right tank, which I think will be interesting because I went back and double checked. You know, it's been so, I've been gone for a month, so I went back and double checked the order in which I did these, and the left tank was the first one that I did in terms of closing out the baffle. So I will be very interested today when I leak test the right tank to see if perhaps, being it's the second time that I've done a baffle, that maybe I did a better job. I don't know. What I did here is I just shifted the tank in the cradle a little bit so that on the backside I could hit a couple of those rivets for the stiffeners that were covered up by the cradle. That's it. So Anyways, I think here coming up in a minute, obviously this is all on my GoPro. My other camera died very early in this. Should have checked the battery before I started. So I'll just give a little recap on how this went. And then remember, stay tuned after that little walk around recap if you want to see what I did to get this AC installed. So hang tight. Here we go.
Well, it looks like my camera over there, wherever, it looks like that one died some time along leak testing this thing. And I'll show you the GoPro footage, but here also, basically, I've got one leak right here in the back baffle, and then this one right here. And this one was pretty substantial. The reason I'm so sweaty, I told you it was hot in here, but then I had to turn off the fan in the AC because as soon as I started pumping this thing up, I could hear the leak that was happening right there. In fact, I'll show you. And there you go. So that's at the very corner, the aft upper corner of the rear baffle. And then the other one down here is also rear baffle on the upper portion. I actually don't think that those will be too much of a challenge to fix, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I'm going to wipe this thing down and I'll do the right tank tomorrow. Hey, welcome back to the Gilbertson Aero Factory. Today is, it's August 2nd, Wednesday, 2023. I haven't pressure tested my tanks yet because it is hot as sin and I just can't hack it anymore. The heat index here, since I've been back for the last several days, has been over 120 every day, and that's going to stay that way. So you might notice that I have things here that don't look very airplane-y in nature. Giant hole saws on a hammer drill. I picked up a portable AC unit and I'm going to put that thing in my garage. I have no illusions. I don't think that it's going to turn my garage into a 65-degree paradise, but it will definitely bring it down from 102-degree hell. So that's my project for today. I had waffled back and forth about whether or not to put it on this channel, but it is relevant, I think, in that it's part of my workshop. And my decision to go ahead and do this and spend the money to do it simply comes down to the fact that when I'm super hot and super uncomfortable, I become frustrated and impatient and I make mistakes. And this is supposed to be a fun project. And it is, but I'm going to re-inject some of the joy back into building an airplane in Texas during the summer. So anyways, if you're into it, great. If you're not, I get it. But we'll get this done so we can get back to actually building the airplane in a safe and sane way. So anyways, we want to build an airplane, but today we're going to install an air conditioner. So stay tuned. Keystone Cops, high speed, all that business is coming up. Thanks for being here.
All right, let's see if I can get this in one pass. This portable AC unit has two hoses, and so I've decided to route one on each side of the stud that I located there. Got a giant a little bit too big, 6 5/8 hole saw to get through there, and then drilling with a hammer drill, a 1/4-inch pilot hole all the way to the outside. And there, what you missed is I went outside and found that there wasn't enough room on that side behind this big AC unit to do work. If you look lower left, you can maybe see at that same level a pilot hole that I drilled there. So that one wasn't going to work. I'll fill it up with sealant. And so instead I decided, as you saw earlier, to go vertical. That hole saw couldn't hack So I had to go around and drill 1/4-inch holes all the way around to give it, make it a little bit easier for that hole saw. This took hours to do. That is a titanium carbide something tip masonry hole saw, and it wasn't up for the task. So ended up working it out. And that's what happened to the hole saw when I tried to do the second hole up above. Cut 2, went and got a rotary hammer drill with the chisel set, and that's how we worked out the rest of it. So the top here, again, probably an hour to go around drilling 1/4-inch holes through the masonry, so I could get to work with it with the chisel and get that all cleaned out. In the end, it all worked out, but man, this was an all-day affair in extreme heat. I'm happy to have it done. I put in some nice range hoods. The hot air is the top one. That's the exhaust. And the bottom one, that one has a damper. The bottom one doesn't have a damper. That's the intake. And they will ultimately feed this probably undersized portable AC unit, 8,000 BTU AC unit that will probably end up getting fitted in my trailer. So 6-inch to 6-inch connector, and then a 6 to 5-inch reducer. This is sort of jerry rigging to get it to work on this hose that has a 5.5-inch inside diameter, and then just some aluminum tape to put those pieces together, and then bang. It's in there with an extra hole in the wall that I will patch, no big deal. You can see that I put this in the back of the garage, obviously near where I keep my compressor. It's the cleanest place for that installation. There's cool air coming in. It's 99 currently in the garage. And I can tell you after a couple days of using this, it reduces the garage temperature by about 15 degrees. I'll take it, but I will probably have to upsize that to probably like a 14,000 BTU unit if I want it to really be effective. But that's it. Thanks for watching.